1 Anderson Street in South Melbourne. I've always liked this particular street. Basically, you find a lot bigger blocks here than you do in Albert Park, Middle Park as a general rule. MSAC is at the end of the street. Howe Crescent is at the other end of the street, not too far from South Melbourne Market. This is a very good part of the world. The question is about this particular property. It's on 455 square metres, number 1 Anderson Road in South Melbourne. They're quoting at the top of the range 3.5, and you'd be going, oh geez, well, quick maths, that's a lot less than 10,000 a square metre. But there's a lot of issues with this particular property. First up, no, it doesn't have a heritage listing, but it has a significant heritage overlay. So it actually is a block of flats. So the question would be, looking at the facade, etc., can you change it back to a house? I'm sure you could, but there would be some difficulties with that. You would have to meet requirements, so you couldn't touch the front. So down the side there's a laneway, and currently at the back they've built a more modern sort of small townhouse above some garaging, which has got a car stacker in it, none of which I think you would keep, is my first impressions. You would significantly renovate them because you don't want to lose the overlay that you have there, you don't want to lose the footprint, that you have there. Internally, a lot of the rooms, because it's 4 apartments at the moment, a lot of the rooms are quite small and pokey, so you'd be then opening them up. Now, assuming that they're all brick, I mean, is this an 1870s? Gut feel is it probably is, looking, they had bluestone pitches on the footing, so if you're starting to open up the walls there's some pretty, assuming you can, which if it's just a significant heritage overlay, externally, fine. Internally, assuming you can, I mean, there's an awful lot of work in breaking through those walls with a jackhammer, if that's the case. So we would need a pest and building opinions. I'd also think you'd need an architect's opinion on this as to, well, what can you do with it? Because I'm not sure that I'm smart enough to come up with the obvious ideas, because it's not a standout to me in the sense of it's an obvious high-end renovation, because what would you be spending on this? It just feels it's a 4 million plus renovation. Maybe I'm wrong. So then, okay, if you do all that and your holding costs, etc., and even if, let's say 3, so let's just say that it's all up costing you between 7 and 8. Well, you're going to get that back. Now, we bought one recently, or it's a couple of years ago now, in Howe Crescent, but it was on significantly bigger land for 10. So there are some substantial sales in this immediate area, but this is not Howe Crescent, but it's still pretty good, Anderson Road. Do you want it? Do you want to do this? This would be several years. Currently it's tenanted at the moment, so assuming that assuming everything's on a month-by-month lease, then and that can go through the up to settlement period. Assuming there's no further holdbacks, you're probably a year in the planning and the working out, and you'd be more than a year in the building, is my gut feel. So I mean, this is a substantial project with substantial amounts of money. With substantial red tape, with no obvious easy solutions to me to turn this into a house. And then, okay, well, if you're turning it into apartments, you haven't got lifts, and you've got upstairs, downstairs, so you're going to have restrictions. Something's biting my hand. You're going to have restrictions on what you're going to achieve value-wise or what you're going to achieve rental-wise. Look, this needs some thought before you purchase this. It's just not obvious to me that it's a walk-in, yeah, wham bam, this is an easy decision and we just got to compete against some other buyers. I think this is all about somebody has got to have a great plan, and to me, it's not obvious at this stage.